What's up, Carnivore crew? Welcome back to Carnivore RX. Today, I'm bringing you the Carnivore Mayonnaise recipe that actually works. This is the version people repeatedly say finally emulsified, didn't break, tastes like real mayo, and made them never want to buy store-bought mayo again. If you've tried making carnivore mayo before and it split or turned out watery or just didn't work, this video is going to solve all those problems. This is foolproof, takes 90 seconds, and uses an immersion blender to guarantee success. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're posting carnivore recipes every week to help you thrive on this lifestyle. Let's make mayo. Alright, let's talk about ingredients. This recipe makes about 1 cup of mayonnaise. First, 1 large egg at room temperature. This is critical. The egg must be at room temperature, not cold from the fridge. A cold egg will not emulsify properly. Let it sit on the counter for 30 minutes before you start. Unlike ice cream where we use only yolks, for mayonnaise we use the whole egg. The egg white provides extra lecithin support, creates a better initial emulsion, and makes this recipe more forgiving for beginners. Second, 1 cup of animal fat, melted but not hot. Your best options, ranked by success rate, are beef tallow, which is the most stable and forgiving, bacon grease, which adds amazing flavor, duck fat, or ghee. Tallow is what I recommend for your first attempt because it emulsifies the most smoothly and stays stable in the fridge. People consistently say tallow mayo was the first one that didn't split. Do not use coconut oil, it solidifies too fast. Do not use butter, it breaks too easily. And obviously, no seed oils. Third, 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar or lemon juice. This is optional but strongly recommended. The acid helps the emulsion and adds a subtle tang that makes it taste like traditional mayo. Fourth, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, or to taste. Salt enhances the flavor and makes this taste like real mayonnaise instead of just blended fat and eggs. That's it. 4 ingredients. No seed oils, no gums, no emulsifiers, no preservatives. Just real food. Now let's talk about why this version works. Most failed mayo attempts come from cold eggs, hot fat, pouring the fat too fast, or trying to whisk by hand. This recipe eliminates all those problems by using an immersion blender and a specific technique that works every single time. Tallow is the most forgiving fat for mayo. It emulsifies smoothly, stays creamy in the fridge, and doesn't have the problems of other fats. Nearly all the positive reviews for carnivore mayo mention using an immersion blender and tallow. That's the winning combination. Now let's talk about what you'll need. You need an immersion blender. This is non-negotiable. A regular blender or food processor can work, but an immersion blender in a tall, narrow jar is the most foolproof method. You also need a tall, narrow jar or container that fits your immersion blender snugly. A wide-mouth mason jar works perfectly. And you need a way to melt your tallow, like a small saucepan or microwave-safe container. Alright, let's make this carnivore mayonnaise. This takes 90 seconds from start to finish. Step 1. Make sure your egg is at room temperature. If it's been in the fridge, let it sit out for 30 minutes. This is the most important step. A cold egg will not emulsify. Step 2. Melt your 1 cup of animal fat. I'm using beef tallow. You can melt it gently in a saucepan over low heat or in the microwave. Once it's fully melted, let it cool slightly. It should be warm to the touch, not hot. If it's too hot, it will cook the egg and the mayo will break. Aim for lukewarm or slightly warm. Step 3. Add your room temperature egg to the bottom of your tall, narrow jar. Add 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar or lemon juice and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Step 4. Pour the melted, slightly warm tallow on top of the egg. Don't stir or mix anything yet. Just pour it gently so it sits on top. The fat will naturally float above the egg. Step 5. Insert your immersion blender all the way to the bottom of the jar, resting it flat against the bottom. Turn it on to high speed. Do not move the blender yet. Just hold it still at the bottom and let it blend for 10 to 15 seconds. You'll see the mayo start to emulsify at the bottom. It'll turn white and thick almost immediately. Step 6. Once you see the emulsion starting at the bottom, very slowly lift the immersion blender upward. Move it just a little bit at a time, almost in slow motion. As you lift, the mayo will emulsify all the way up through the jar. This should take another 10 to 15 seconds. By the time the blender reaches the top, you should have thick, creamy mayonnaise. Step 7. Once it's fully emulsified, give it one final pulse to make sure everything is combined. And that's it. You've made carnivore mayonnaise in 90 seconds. The key is not moving the blender too early. If you lift it before the emulsion forms at the bottom, it will break. Hold it steady at the bottom for those first 10 to 15 seconds, then lift slowly. That's the secret. Now let's talk about texture and storage. When you first make this mayo, it'll be thick and creamy, like store-bought mayo. As it chills in the fridge, it will thicken even more. Tallow-based mayo firms up slightly when cold, but it's still perfectly spreadable. It lasts 5 to 7 days refrigerated in an airtight container. The texture is classic mayo, smooth and rich. The flavor is neutral, clean, and many people say it tastes better than store-bought mayo because it doesn't have that chemical aftertaste. Now let me address the common fail points so you can avoid them. The number one reason mayo breaks is cold eggs. Always use room temperature eggs. Number 2 is hot fat. If your tallow is too hot, it will cook the egg and the emulsion will fail. Let it cool to lukewarm before adding it. Number 3 is using a wide container. The jar needs to be narrow so the immersion blender can work properly. A wide bowl doesn't create the same emulsion. And number 4 is moving the blender too early. Be patient. Let it emulsify at the bottom first, then lift slowly. If you follow these 4 rules, your mayo will turn out perfect every single time. Now let's talk about nutrition. 1 cup of mayo serves about 16 tablespoons, so each tablespoon is 1 serving. Per tablespoon, you're looking at approximately 100 to 110 calories, almost all from fat. Fat is about 11 to 12 grams per tablespoon. Protein is minimal, less than 1 gram. Carbs are essentially 0. This is pure fat, which is exactly what you want in mayo. Now let me talk briefly about why eliminating seed oils is one of the most important things you can do for your health. Store-bought mayonnaise is made with seed oils. Almost every brand. Even the organic ones use canola oil, soybean oil, or sunflower oil as the base. These oils are incredibly inflammatory and damaging to your health. Seed oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids, specifically linoleic acid. In small amounts, omega-6 is fine, but the modern diet is absolutely flooded with it. The average person is eating 10 to 20 times more omega-6 than their body can handle. This creates a massive imbalance with omega-3 fatty acids, and that imbalance drives chronic inflammation throughout your entire body. Omega-6 fatty acids are converted into pro-inflammatory compounds called eicosanoids. These compounds promote inflammation, blood clotting, and immune activation. When you're constantly consuming large amounts of omega-6 from seed oils, you're triggering inflammatory pathways every single day. This contributes to heart disease, arthritis, autoimmune conditions, skin problems, and accelerated aging. But it gets worse. Seed oils are chemically unstable. They're polyunsaturated fats, which means they have multiple double bonds in their structure. These double bonds are fragile and easily damaged by heat, light, and oxygen. When seed oils are processed in factories using high heat, chemical solvents, and deodorization to remove the rancid smell, they become oxidized and damaged. Oxidized fats create free radicals in your body. Free radicals cause cellular damage, DNA damage, and contribute to cancer, cardiovascular disease, and neurological decline. Essentially, you're eating rancid, damaged fat that your body has to detoxify and repair. And because seed oils are in everything, mayonnaise, salad dressings, packaged snacks, restaurant food, baked goods, fried foods, you're getting a massive dose of these inflammatory oils every single day without even realizing it. Now compare that to tallow-based mayo. Beef tallow is a stable, saturated fat. It doesn't oxidize easily. It doesn't create free radicals. It doesn't drive inflammation. In fact, tallow is anti-inflammatory. It's rich in conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA, which has been shown to reduce inflammation and support fat loss. It's also a great source of fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin E and vitamin K2, especially if you're using tallow from grass-fed beef. When you make your own mayo with tallow, you're completely eliminating the seed oils. You're removing one of the most damaging components of the modern diet and replacing it with a nourishing, stable, anti-inflammatory fat. This one simple swap can have a profound impact on your health over time. And this mayo is a daily use condiment. You're not just having it once in a while. You're using it on burgers, with your carnivore bread, on eggs, as a dip for meat, in deviled eggs. It becomes a staple. So every time you use it, you're choosing real food over industrial seed oils. That adds up. This mayo completes your carnivore sustainability system. It pairs with all the recipes on this channel. The carnivore bread, the burgers, the cloud breads, the deviled eggs. It removes the dry food problem. It makes meals more satisfying and enjoyable. And it gives you a condiment you can use every single day without compromising your health. Now, if you love this recipe and want access to even more creative carnivore dishes like this, I've put together a complete carnivore recipe book with over 100 recipes that'll keep your meals exciting and delicious. We're talking breakfasts, lunches, dinners, snacks, and even desserts, all 100% carnivore approved. I've included the link in the comments below if you want to check it out. It's a great resource to have in your kitchen, and it'll save you hours of trying to figure out what to make every day. Alright, carnivore crew, that's it. The only carnivore mayonnaise recipe that actually works. 1 egg, 1 cup of tallow, 90 seconds with an immersion blender, and you've got creamy, delicious mayo with no seed oils, no chemicals, and no inflammation. This is a game changer for making carnivore practical and sustainable. If you make this mayo, let me know in the comments how it turned out. Did it emulsify on the first try? Are you using tallow or bacon grease? And what are you putting it on? I want to hear all about it. If this video helped you out, hit that like button. It really helps the channel reach more people who need this information. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our carnivore recipes and tips. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep thriving on carnivore.